Good morning. Welcome to the Blue Earth County Board of Commissioners January 20th, 2026 board meeting. First off, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Those who can stand, please join us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review, Bob.
Madam Chair, I have two additions to the agenda today. One is an informational item under administrative items. And then, given the attendance here today, I think it might be wise to add a public comment period to the end of our agenda. We do have a number of public hearings that have been noticed, and so we do need to attend to those, but feeling we need to provide the opportunity for the public to comment if they have issues they'd like to share with the board. So those would be the two additions that I would propose.
Okay.
I'll move the agenda with the amendments.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Thank you.
Move to recess for Economic Development Authority.
Okay, we are recessed.
Second.
Oh, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Economic Development. Nancy.
Good morning, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Madam Chair, would you like to do an agenda review?
Please.
There are no changes to this agenda today.
I would move the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right. Here
I'll
we
move
go.
the minutes.
Thank you. Second on the minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I forgot discussion. Anybody want to discuss that? Okay, we're good to go. Okay, Nancy.
And so we just wanted to come before you today to share information on an opportunity to get additional vouchers here for the EDA. The South Central Multi-County HRA intends to voluntarily transfer their Housing Choice Voucher program to another qualified housing agencies within our region. They have been sustaining underutilization. They've fallen into shortfall with HUD, and they've been unable to adequately support their staffing. And so they have 712 vouchers, and they are currently approximately 64% utilized. And they have determined that they can no longer effectively manage the program and are seeking to dissolve their HRA operations. The proposed voluntary transfer is subject to HUD and would reassign the units to either the Blue Earth County EDA, the Mankato EDA, or the Minnesota Valley Action Council. These would transfer their existing vouchers and prevent permanent loss of vouchers in our region, and it allows us to continue to serve people in their original counties or here in Blue Earth County. The acceptance of the vouchers would strengthen our program. It would improve financial performance and expand the administrative capacities for our agency, as well as leverage more vouchers for affordable housing. They currently, like I said, have 712 units allocated to them, and Nicollet County has 308. Waseca, Watonwan, and Sibley have 69, and then Martin County has 79. So there is a lot of room there to expand those. Right now, we're not sure how HUD is going to break those vouchers down. So we're waiting for HUD to give us more information on that. You definitely would at least have like the 69 vouchers for the three outside counties. But we do anticipate they would add additional vouchers to that from the underutilized ACCs that they have. And HUD does this voluntary transfer every January or July of each year. So right now we'd be looking at a transfer in July, although I know the agency is struggling and HUD may make some special arrangements to start it sooner than that. But right now we're going forward with HUD looking at this conversion in July. And HUD has made contact to all the other PHAs in our area that are adjacent to the South Central Multi-County HRA, and it is Blue Earth County, Mankato, and the Minnesota Valley Action Councils that have expressed interest in taking on these vouchers. And I did attach to your packet of information that talks about that voluntary transfer process, and then a summary of why we would want to consider that transfer. So I just kind of want to highlight some of those reasons why we'd want the transfer, and definitely HUD rarely does issue new vouchers, and so this is one of the few ways that we have that opportunity to do that. I know I've worked with the program over 30 years, and we don't see this happening very often at all, so this is a unique opportunity for us to expand our program. A large program is more sustainable and able to manage shortfall funding concerns that HUD has, and it would preserve that housing in our region. So if we did not accept these vouchers, they could be gone to Minnesota altogether. So it definitely gives us the opportunity to keep them here in our communities and keep those families that are currently on the program in sustainable housing. We do have the staff capacity to handle this. I know over the years we've been streamlining the program to make it more efficient, and then HUD is going through a process where they're modernizing the program and providing some streamlines to that as well. So we do believe we have the staff capacity already to manage these additional vouchers as they come in. And then we do also have a partnership with Minnesota Valley Action Council, who has offices in all of the counties, and so if we are concerned about that transfer time between counties, we can work with them out of their offices to address the needs that we have there. So they're willing to partner with us on that. And then we do already have a regional role and influence our region. We have 25 Bridges vouchers. We have 150 Bring It Home state-funded vouchers. And then we do have the mainstream vouchers, which are non-elderly disabled, that are already working in the region as well. So we are prime candidates to take on these additional vouchers. So the requested action is a resolution authorizing the support for these transfers and a letter requesting the transfer from HUD. And do you have any other questions?
I don't have any questions, but that's exciting.
Yeah, long ago, my sister worked there, so.
Okay.
That's good. And I'm glad to hear you have the staff to handle it, because it's going to be big.
Yes.
All right, motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yes, thank you.
And I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned on here. Okay. On to County Ditch 47.
Morning, Craig.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to County Ditch 47 final hearing involving multiple petitions for removal of property under Minnesota Statute 103E.805. The first item on the agenda review is agenda review. Easy for me to say.
Madam Chair, there are no changes to the agenda today.
Thanks, Bob.
I'll move the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So the purpose of today's hearing is to receive comments from all parties interested in the petitions for removal of property under Minnesota Statute 103E.805. The order of business for this hearing is as follows. Staff will review the jurisdictional documents. We will hear from the appointed viewer and appointed engineer. Then we will open for public comments. I will ask Bloor County Drainage Staff Craig Ostison to review the jurisdictional documents. Craig.
Okay, we had a landowner information meeting on January 5th, 2026. Hearing notices were mailed out on December 23rd, 2025. Notice was posted for this hearing outside the Blue Earth County Historic Courthouse located at 204 South 5th, Mankato, Minnesota, 56001. Notice of public affidavit was also published in the Mankato Free Press for 3 consecutive weeks, including dates December 23, 30, 25, and January 6th, 2026. The County Ditch 47 watershed is approximately 2,095 benefited acres. It is located in Cambria and Butternut Valley Townships. Multiple petitions for removal of property from a public dish system under Minnesota Statute 103E.805 were received by the Property Environmental Resources Department staff. On June 10th, 2025, the Blue Earth County Drainage Authority for County Ditch 47 by finance and order appointed a viewer and an engineer to aid in the petitions and give the respective reports. A copy of the drafted viewers and engineers reports for the petitions for removal were submitted to Blue Earth County Drainage Management staff on November 20th, 2025. By order, the County Ditch 47 Drainage Authority set a date, time, and location for today's hearing. Action requested, we respectfully request that the County Ditch 47 Drainage Authority approve the 3 draft findings and orders for the petitions for removal of property under Minnesota Statute 103E.805 affecting portions of County Ditch 47. That's it for jurisdictional documents.
Okay, thank you, Craig.
I would move the jurisdictional documents.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I will ask Mr. Mark Behrens, the appointed viewer, to please come up, review the drafted viewer's report for these proceedings.
Good morning. If you don't mind, I'll turn this so that my back isn't to the audience. I'm Mark Behrens. I'm one of the viewers, or I am the viewer that worked on this petition for removal. We've got a group that works together at my farm in an office in a second house that we've got there. We've worked together a lot of years. We're members of the Minnesota Viewers Association. There's 4 or 5 trainings a year you can go to become accredited. So whether it's our group that worked on this petition or another group, the process would be similar on how they determine benefits and how they determine reducing benefits. There's 4 or 5 trainings a year you can go to become accredited. There's 5 items that are used to determine benefits. Obviously, how many acres within the watershed, your soil type, your location rate, where your property is physically away from the county open ditch or county tile, whether or not you've got county tile on your property, and the efficiency of the system. Those 5 items come together to determine a benefit value. We do that for every parcel within the system. We divide your benefit value by the total benefits. So when there's repair or maintenance on that system, obviously the whole bill has to be paid. Each parcel pays their percent of total benefits. We build a book like this on every system we work on. It's got everyone's soil types, their location rates, all the information on each parcel. So anybody that wants to look at how we broke out their parcel or a neighbor's parcel, we're happy to show them what we did. We've got a standard way that we break out parcels, and then at the informational meetings that we have with landowners, we ask them if they're tiled out, if they're tiled in, if they're in a permanent program, and then we adjust our benefit numbers up or down by what we learn from landowners at those info meetings. I've handed out a packet. All of the info that I'm talking about is in that packet that was given out. On the benefits on this system, County Ditch 47, our group did a redetermination of benefits on that system back in 2023. It was established in 1917. There's no open ditch, it's all county tile. There's about 7.8 miles of county tile on this system. And you heard Craig say there's about 2,090 acres within the watershed of that system. The redetermination that we did in 2023, some landowners had informed us that they had acres tiled out of this system. So at that time, we received tile maps from those landowners that were tiled out. We reduced their benefits on their acres by 95%. We don't take their acres totally out of the system. We leave them in at 5%. possibly in a big rain event, some of the water could work its way over to the county system. So on this petition that we've actually got 3 petitions. It was all treated similar. I met with Jay and Brian Ingalls out on site earlier, looked over what they had. We've got all their tile maps here. They built a berm on the south side of the property so the water can't work its way to the south. They pattern tile the whole works. They've got an intake in the ditch that this water will go north to a private or a creek. The intake in the ditch is lower than a culvert that's underneath the road, so unless there's a very, very big rain event, all this water will work its way out of County Ditch 47 and into this creek. There's 72.42 acres that are petitioning out of this system. Their original benefits on all of those acres were $85,401. We reduced those benefits on those acres by 95%. So after this petition, if it passes, the benefits on those 3 parcels or 3 landowners would be $4,270. Nobody else's benefits changed within this watershed. All their benefits stayed the same. Only these petitioning acres' benefits were reduced. So everyone else will pay just a slightly higher percentage of any repair or maintenance on that system, but it's very, very small. But these acres, if there's repair or maintenance on County Ditch 47, they will help pay for that also, but at a very much reduced rate. A lot of information there, but I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, at this time, I would like to ask the appointed engineer to come up and present their review report and for the petitions proceedings of today's hearing.
We don't have anybody from the engineers.
Okay. Now, then, at this time, we will open the public comment portion of the hearing. If you would like to make a comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Comments from the public are expected to be respectful and civil. Please note this meeting is being recorded. There's a 5-minute time limit. The county administrator will give you a 1-minute warning and let you know when you've used your allotted time. In addition, the board may restrict or limit time allotted to a person whose remarks are repetitive or not relevant to the matter under consideration by the board. With there being 3 separate petitions for removal, we will hold 3 separate public comment periods. So, public comment period, individual comments for each. Okay, so we're going to start with Jay Ingalls' petition. Do we have anyone who wants to make public comment on the Jay Ingalls petition? Do I have to do this 3 times? Mm-hmm. Anyone who wants to make comment on the Jay Ingalls petition? And for the 3rd time, anyone wishing to make comment on Jay Ingalls petition? Okay. Hearing no further comments, I'll close the public comment portion of the hearing for the Jay Ingalls petition and open the hearing up for public comment on the John and Donna petition for removal of benefits. Is there anyone wishing to make comments for the John and Donna Ingalls petition for removal? Is there anyone wishing to make comments on the County Ditch 47 petition for removal of the benefits for John and Donna Ingalls petition? And the last time, for anyone wishing to make comments for Ditch 47 petition for removal of benefits pertaining to John and Donna Ingalls petition? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment portion of the hearing for the John and Donna Ingalls petition and open the hearing up for public comment on the Franklin and Sandra Klinkner petition for removal of benefits. Anyone wishing to make comments for the Franklin and Sandra Klinkner petition for removal? Is there anyone wishing to make comments on ditch 47 petition for removal of the benefits for Franklin and Sandra Klinkner petition? All right, last time. Anyone wishing to make comments on ditch 47 petition for removal of benefits to the Franklin and Sandra Klinkner petition? Any comments from the board or questions?
Can we make a motion for all three of them at the same time, or do we have to do them separately?
We should do each one of them separately.
I would move the J. Ingles.
Second?
Discussion.
I would add just, on all of them, the ISG engineer was at the landowner meeting and answered all the questions, things like that. This seems fairly simple and easy as we look at it, so certainly would support that. But all questions that I'm aware of were answered at the landowner meeting from ISG and the engineer's report.
Perfect. Anyone else? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
I'll move the John and Donna Ingalls petition.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. And one more.
I'll move the Franklin Klinkner petition.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All righty, that passes. So this concludes the public hearings for County Ditch 47. Now we're moving on to Minneopa. Welcome. I'm Patty O'Connor. Here we go. Good morning and welcome to the Minneopa Creek Acceptance Hearing. Agenda review.
Madam Chair, there are no changes to the agenda today.
Move the agenda.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. All righty. The purpose of today's hearing is to determine whether the contractor for the repairs on Minneopa Creek has completed their contract in accordance with the plans and specifications. The order of business for this hearing is as follows. Staff will review the jurisdictional documents. We will hear from the appointed engineer, and then we will open the hearing for public comments. So, Craig, I'll ask you to review the jurisdictional documents.
Okay. Notice was posted for this hearing outside of Blue Earth County Historic Courthouse located at 204 South 5th Street, Mankato, Minnesota. Notice of the public hearing is also published in the Mankato Free Press on January 8th, 2026. Minneopa Creek serves as an outlet for 8 public drainage systems located primarily in Butternut Valley, Judson, and Lincoln Townships. The Property and Environmental Resources Department staff received an engineer's acceptance report for repairs that were approved by the Drainage Authority on May 6, 2025. All contractual work has been completed by the contractor. The purpose of the acceptance here is to determine if the contractor has completed the work in accordance with the plans and specifications. When a Drainage Authority accepts a contract, it will order the payment of the remaining balance due on the contract. The acceptance hearing also starts a 3-year warranty period for the tile work and 1-year warranty period for open ditch work. Today, we are requesting the Drainage Authority accept the drafted findings and order approving the engineer's acceptance report for the repairs and release of any final payments due to the contractors for the project and to pay damages as shown in the engineer's report.
I will move the jurisdictional documents.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. So then we will move on to public comments and questions. Is there anyone wishing to make comments on Minneopa Creek Repair Project? Is there anyone wishing to make comments on the Minneopa Creek Repair Project? And last time, anyone wishing to make comments for repair project? Hearing no comment portion of the hearing. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have none, Madam Chair. I would move approval.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And can I get a motion and a second to accept the drafted findings and order approving the engineer's contract acceptance report and order any final payment for be issued to the contractor?
So moved.
Thank you. I need a second.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. We will adjourn. This concludes the Minneopa Creek acceptance hearing. Thank you, Craig.
Okay.
And now we are on to more.
County Ditch 88. This is setting a hearing date for the repair hearing on County Ditch 88. The Blue Earth County Drainage Ditch 88 watershed is approximately 5,700 acres in size and located in McPherson Township. Based on the inspections of County Ditch 88 open ditch and subsurface field tile, a repair report was developed. Blue Earth County Drainage staff consulted with engineer Mr. Chuck Brandel from ISG to develop a repair report. A repair report was developed using drainage staff input as well as engineering survey recommendations. An informational landowner meeting was held on December 9th, 2025 to discuss the proposed repair report, including costs and plans. At today's meeting, we are requesting the Drainage Authority approve the draft findings and order setting a repair hearing date for February 17th, 2026.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Next item is setting the hearing date for the repair hearing for County Ditch 93. The Blue Earth County Ditch 93 watershed is approximately 3,300 acres in size and located in Decoria Township. Based on inspections of County Ditch 93 open ditch and subsurface field tile, a repair report was developed. Blue Earth County Drainage staff consulted with engineer Mr. Chuck Brandel from ISG to develop a repair report. The repair report was developed using drainage staff input as well as engineering survey recommendations. An informational landowner meeting was held on December 9th, 2025 to discuss the proposed repair report, including costs and plans. At today's meeting, we are requesting the Drainage Authority approve the draft findings and order setting the repair hearing date for February 17th, 2026.
I move the draft findings in order.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Ditch 1.
Yeah. This is regarding the redetermination of benefits County Ditch 1. Blue Earth County Ditch 1 watershed is approximately 2,700 acres in size and located in McPherson Township. In February of 2024, an improvement petition for an outlet extension was received. As part of the petition process, the engineer and viewers were appointed. Through the petition proceedings, including landowner meetings on September of 2024, it was realized that the existing benefits listing determined in 2007 requires updated. As a result, a redetermination of benefits is being initiated before the improvement petition may continue. At today's meeting, the Blue Earth County Drainage Authority, we are requesting an order to appoint viewers to complete a redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 1.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll move approval.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that's it for us.
Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Greg. Busy morning already.
Yeah, I'd say. All right, moving on to planning and zoning. The next item on the agenda is planning and zoning. Planning and zoning staff are here to present their action items. This is a public hearing. Public comments will be allowed in just a moment. As previously stated, comments should be respectful and civil. So the planning and zoning staff is here. Please introduce yourselves for the record and introduce the first item before the board.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Scott Salisbury, Property Environmental Resources.
John Considine, County Zoning Administrator.
Morning, gentlemen.
The first item is PC 02-26. The applicant, or the property owner is Crobert's Properties LLC, and the applicant is Brett's RV Minnesota LLC, doing business as Brett's RV and Marine. The request is for review and approval of an interim use permit to allow a business for RV sales, marine sales, and service. The property is owned highway business and is in the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 28, Judson Township. The property address is 51954 200th Street, Lake Crystal. At the Planning Commission meeting, staff presented the report. The Planning Commission had really no comments or questions, and the General Counsel for Brett's RV was there to present the business as well as share their business background. There was no public input provided during the Planning Commission meeting. In following discussion, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to forward a recommendation of approval to the County Board based on the findings and conditions prepared by staff. And the Board action proposed today is a passage of a resolution based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
Okay. At this time, we'll open up the public comment portion of the hearing. If you would like to make a comment regarding PC 02-26, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone wishing to speak? And we have someone to speak. Welcome.
Well, good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Dustin Bretz. I am from Bretz RV and Marine out of Billings, Montana.
Oh.
Address is 2999 Old Hardin Road, Billings, Montana, for the record. And more than anything, I just wanted to take a minute, introduce my family. Eric has been here on behalf of our company here in the meetings, but really just couldn't be more excited to be coming to another great M state over to your neck of the woods. And my family's business, we're third generation family out of Montana, and my grandparents started our business in 1967. And so to be able to come here and help families go camping and boating is really, feels like a privilege. I hadn't spent a lot of time in Minnesota until recently, and it just seems like a great place. Mankato seems like an absolutely great community, and so does its surrounding areas. So I just more than anything wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to potentially be here. So it sounds like if this goes through, we're coming. So if there's any questions for me, I'm also an open book, so feel free. So.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Is there anyone else wishing to comment? Okay, last time. Anyone wishing to comment on PC 02-26? If not, we will close the public comment portion of the hearing. Any discussion by the board?
I would move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Welcome to Blue Earth County.
Yes. Okay, next item.
The next item is PC 03-26. The applicant is Blue Earth County, and the request is a request for an ordinance amendment to the Blue Earth County Code of Ordinances to replace Section 24-329 mineral extraction and associated mining and processing activities with new standards. The ordinance amendment identifies allowable zoning districts and creates standards for hot mix plants, concrete plants, the crushing of aggregate and recycling, and of concrete materials also, as well as new standards for road construction borrow sites. The ordinance amendment also creates new definitions and creates an administrative permit for road construction borrow sites. At the Planning Commission meeting, staff presented the report. 4 members of the public provided comments on the proposal specifically related to hours of operation, dust, noise, as well as setbacks. And just real quick summary of our setbacks from dwellings. Currently, we don't have a setback from a dwelling. We're proposing a 200-foot setback from a dwelling for mining operation, as well as a 300-foot setback for processing activities. And then for crushing or hot mix plants, there would be a 500-foot setback from a dwelling. So currently, we only have a 300-foot setback for dust and noise producing activities. And some of the discussion at the Planning Commission meeting was about those proposed setbacks. And then we looked at a range of ordinances from counties and cities and kind of the range of setbacks. Several counties don't have a setback from a dwelling similar to what we currently have. Others have from between 200 or 500 feet. It was brought up at the meeting that Faribault County has a 1,000-foot setback from the dwelling. It's actually the city of Faribault has that 1,000-foot setback. Faribault County has a 400-foot setback when explosives are used in a mining operation. And then hours of operation was a key area that we talked about at the Plan Commission meeting too. Currently on Saturday, we have Saturday hours from 7 a.m. till noon. We're proposing from noon till 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. The proposal also has a provision in the standards that says, unless otherwise specified in the interim use permit, to give flexibility to the Planning Commission to change those hours of operations when there's a number of dwellings close by, or the reverse, if it's in a more remote area, they could be more relaxed hours of operation. The Planning Commission discussed the proposal and comments from the public in the context of evaluating each site at the time of review of the interim use permit. And following discussion, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to forward a recommendation for approval to the County Board based on the findings and standards prepared by staff. The board action today is the passage of the ordinance based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
Okay. So at this time, we'll open the public comment portion of the hearing. If you would like to make a comment regarding PC 03-26, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Anyone wishing to speak to PC 0326? Is there anyone wishing to comment? If not, we will close the public comment portion of the hearing. Discussion by the board. Are there any comments from the board?
The only comment I have, Madam Chair, is Scott summarized our conversation fairly well. There was quite a bit of discussion around the hours of operation, but we were pretty confident that we can just deal with those on a one-by-one basis as they come forward. So from my understanding, staff spent a lot of time working with local contractors and operators, and we actually set some more setbacks. So actually made it more restrictive for them, but from my understanding, they were very good to work with, and it was nice to have them at the table and able to help us out putting this policy together. So thank you to the staff for reaching out to them.
Great.
Madam Chair, I'll add on to, we brought this forward for a county board work session, and one of the recommendations from the county board included outreach to the public. And so staff did work in pushing out survey information to the public, and we did receive noticeable responses. Most of those related to potential conflict between residential uses and mining operations. And so we believe we had good discussion at that, the Planning Commission, and the feedback from that survey is included within the staff report.
Great. All right. Do I have a motion?
So I'll move approval of the resolution based on the recommendations of the Planning Commission.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, no other topics for planning and zoning? This will conclude the planning and zoning items.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
you guys.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Stephanie, the script is great. Now we move on to property and environmental resources.
Good morning,
Mr.
Michael.
Stahlberger. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commission members. For the record, Michael Stahlberger, Director of Property and Environmental Resources for Blue Earth County. A few items for you today, starting out on tab number 8 with an appointment process for our recycling committee, or our reinstituted recycling committee. As we've discussed at some recent work sessions with you all, we're reestablishing the Recycling and Waste Reduction Advisory Committee. The committee's purpose is to provide insight into solid waste challenges within the county and provide additional resources in terms of education and community outreach as it relates to solid waste. The committee can be made up of up to 9 members based on the bylaws that we have created. And so today we're asking you to appoint the first 5 members to the committee. The 5 committee members do represent the city of Mankato as well as some of our smaller cities. You can see the information provided below. What we are looking for is appointment of Mrs. Julie Dempster, Mrs. Nancy Grunhagen, Mr. Andrew Leith, Mrs. Gina Cooper, and Mrs. Stephanie Janicki. You can see the commissioner districts provided there. All of these folks have met with our our waste planner, and they all bring different attributes to the committee that we find valuable. From product reuse to work on recycling and other waste management perspectives from the St. Clair perspective or the Lake Crystal perspective, as well as a consultant with many, many, many years of experience in environmental and waste management issues. So a pretty solid group for us that we would start our committee with. As I said, we can get up to 9 members maximum. We're stopping at 5 right now because our bylaws are set up in such a way to make sure that the City of Mankato's representation on the board is equalized with members outside of the City of Mankato. And so right now we are still looking for other non-Mankato folks interested in serving so that we could continue to appoint additional folks. So, Madam Chair, with that, I'd stand for any questions on that. Otherwise, we would be looking for that appointment of these first 5 members.
I would move to approve those 5 members.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ballot board.
All right, Madam Chair, next item for you from our department is the annual appointment or the every other year appointment for the election cycle of our absentee ballot board. Minnesota election law establishes a ballot board for each county, municipality, and school district with the responsibility of accepting and rejecting absentee ballots. The ballot board is all conducted at the county level in Blue Earth County based on the way that our authorities have been delegated, or in this case, not delegated to our cities and our school districts. The ballot board will be composed of members of the PER departmental staff who have been trained and served in a nonpartisan fashion, as well as members of the public who have been trained as election judges who do declare party balance so that we can assure party balance is achieved throughout the entire ballot board review process. For your information, as a reminder for you, in Blue Earth County, we do rely on departmental staff to do the majority of our ballot board work. We do bring in members of the public as election judges to actually review any returned ballots that need to have a signature match verification, so that we have folks of 2 different parties working through that part of the process.
Good idea.
And that is also those party balanced election judges also do all of our processing. They open the envelopes, duplicate any ballots as necessary, and are involved in the actual tabulation of them as we get closer to the election. So the resolutions before you, the resolution before you in this section is to direct the Property and Environmental Resources Department Director to appoint and work through that absentee ballot board as required by Minnesota state law. And then we also have you, just for formality purposes, also have me as the director establish the UACAVA ballot board. That one doesn't technically require your approval, but we do work through that same process just for consistency purposes. So, Madam Chair, I'll stand again for any questions. Otherwise, we're looking for action on that resolution.
All right.
I'll move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Looks good. Having been in your chair, it sounds like it's going to work really well.
We're getting ready for another election cycle. And with that, we actually have our last item for you from the...
Wait, we haven't voted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now you can.
If
Okay,
the
it
chair says it
passes.
looks good, we just go with it. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're ready for the last item, Madam Chair?
Yes.
All right, the last item for our department is the appointment of the County Canvassing Board. So one of the final steps for each election for us is to actually make the results official. This occurs after we release unofficial results on election night and into the intervening days. Our canvassing board will actually make those results official based on their review of all of our returns. This is a requirement under Minnesota state law, also associated with our elections law. And the composition of this county canvassing board is 2 commissioners who will be appointed by yourselves who are not on the ballot, as well as the mayor of our most populous city. So that'll be the mayor of the city of Mankato and the court administrator for our district court. I'm the last member of that canvassing board, and so today what we're bringing forward is a resolution for you all to appoint Commissioner Sturberg and Commissioner Pepo to serve on the county canvassing board, since those would be our 2 districts that are not going to be on the ballot.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries.
All right, very good, thank you. Yep, and the dates of those county canvassing board meetings will be released soon as we can coordinate everyone's schedule now.
There you go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Next up, Human Services. Phil.
Morning, Phil.
Morning.
I'm sure I have really 3 action items. Your cover sheet only mentions the 2, but one was the tabled issue about our guidelines for our committees, and that should be, I believe, an action item as well, if I can bring that along with it. It is listed under the informational items. The first action item, Mental Health Center, New Life Treatment Center, detox purchase of service agreement. I think the board is aware that we have a mandate to provide detox for our citizens and anyone else that's in our county at the time they're picked up. And this facility is in Woodstock, Minnesota, and is used as an overflow when Brown County is not available. Daily rate is $600 per day. A lot of the vendors, we see this increase, substantial increase in rates, and in this case, $150 rate increase, 33% from 2025. The term of this agreement, January 1st of 26 through December 31st of 26. And then supportive housing, Partners for Affordable Housing. This is a contract with Partners regarding the board support for their mission in the amount of $27,000. It is a renewal agreement, and it is a 10% decrease from the previous year per the board's instructions, and the term January 1st of 26 through December 31st of 26. The third one is in your packet, and it's the operating guidelines are pages, I believe, in your packet of 175 through 180. And then on page 178, I think you'll see a highlighted page, and that is what was left over from last meeting. I had instruction to go back and look at term limits, and so the focus of those are represented on this page in item D and E, and really it's just the first couple pieces that I draw the board's attention to and hope that I captured the wishes of the board. The first, for membership terms, 2 years, starting in January, and when the term is completed, the slot is made vacant. The second item under D says that an exiting member may apply for reappointment. So that's the issue that I think we're talking about, to make sure that there's movement and a hard stop for those appointments. And then if somebody else wants onto any of the association, they would have that access, which I did meet with our Human Services Advisory Committee last Thursday, let's say, and they were supportive of this language. We went through it just like I am with you now, and they understood the issue of access and term limits, really. The second one was about the chairperson, and we did look through PR's language, and here again, a 2-year term with a hard stop for a chairperson. So nobody could serve more than 2 years is the way this is written. And then they could, kind of stay on the committee based on the language above, and then the vice chair would move up, as is common in some of the other committees. So that is my proposal for that action item as well, and those are my action items for today, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can we do these all in one motion, or?
Yes.
You can, okay. So, any questions for Phil?
Well, so point of clarification, so on the membership term, is there actually a term limit then? Or is it, we did do term limit out? Am I
Right.
just missing that?
Yeah, I mean, and again, the board might help me with if I'm using the right terminology or definition, but what I'm calling a term limit is that there's a hard stop, that it just doesn't go on and on and on. And so they have to reapply if they're a member to anything that's open, and they get second choice on that. So if somebody else was putting their name in the hat, that person would have preference. And that's one of the issues I think we were trying to capture that wasn't in the old language. And then with the chairmanship, that you can only have 2 years, and then you must step down. So that's saying that you can't go more than 2 years. So
Yeah, and I think I'm okay with that. Again, I think it's good to have people move around in the organization. It's been working out really well at planning and zoning, so I'm okay with that. But so how long can they sit as a member? I'm just not clear on that.
2 years, and then their term expires, and they can reapply if they wish to any open spot.
But don't we normally, when we have term or term limits. You can have 2 years 3 times or 4 times, and then your limit would stop. To me, this is reading, or it sounds like that after 2 years, you could basically be bumped off.
Right.
Because that's your term limit.
That's right.
Does that make, am I asking the right question
You
here?
are.
Because and I'm concerned about that. I don't want people to get on for 2 years, and all of a sudden after 2 years, I think they should be able to stay on for a certain amount of terms, and then have to reapply.
Yeah.
Am I making sense or
You
not?
are, because 2 years isn't enough time to learn what you're doing.
Yeah, so I don't want people to have to feel that they have to step down after 2 years. I want them to, I mean, if there's other people that are up, it is an appointment, so there would be, there might be some changes, but I think most of the other committees I sit on, your term might be 2 years or 4 years, but you can stay on for a limit of 3 terms or 2 terms.
Yeah.
So
That
the
making
problem,
sense?
the problem I was trying to solve is that there wouldn't be the same members on the committees for an extended amount of
Yep.
time. And I think if they have the allowance of up to 6 years, and we can't say that they're done, then I think we're not accomplishing the goal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Not to me.
Well,
Because
I started where you were, is
Yeah.
that we have some long-term members that I'd kind of like to keep, but I heard the board's will was to more say, we got to keep people rotating. And so that's what I wrote.
And
But
I-
I'll do whatever you want.
Yes, and I struggle with that portion, and I did last time we talked about this. I mean, I'm okay with the vice chair
Sure.
changing, because I think that's good for the organization.
Yeah.
But I do worry about even having a term limit on the committee when we have a hard time getting people to sit on these committees. So
right.
that's the only concern I'm bringing up here.
Kevin?
So I'm looking at D, membership term. 2-year terms has been talked about. Unexpired terms may be filled, we get that. And it says when a member's term is completed, that slot is made vacant and is to be filled by board appointment. Certainly that member can still apply, so it's really up to us to decide if 2 years is enough, or if they're interested in continuing. So it's still kind of, as I look at it, that's still up to the board if we believe that a current member after 2 years, and they're still interested in doing it, that we could.
They just
we could
keep going.
reelect them.
They
Or
just
we
keep
could
going.
Reappoint them.
And vice versa, if you didn't want that to continue, say, okay, this person served long enough, we could
Right.
end it then. So we bring those all before you, correct?
So
Commissioner?
there wouldn't really
That's a
no
good
be
point.
term, there would be technically no term limit.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, well,
I
that's where I
think
got a
that's
little
fair.
unclear,
All right.
so.
Okay.
I just think we have these committees, and we have good people that sit on them, and we have a hard time finding more people to take their places. And I think of most of the committees that I sit on. So as long as we have that option to, if we don't have anybody to fill that seat, we need somebody in that seat. So,
Okay. Yes, Kevin?
Yes, I want to go down to number 5, under the membership term, talked about 3 consecutive absences may be interpreted as a resignation. I'm assuming may means may on that. I mean, there's always special circumstances and things like
Right.
that where
Correct.
something that,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because somebody could be really sick or something like
Yeah.
that and miss a whole lot of time.
Can they
And-
join?
unexpected,
Yeah,
things coming up.
they
and-
do.
Right.
Is there a virtual option that they could join
We
virtually?
are virtual, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are really good points. And Commissioner Brun, to your point, I really do want to tell the board, our advisory board might be somewhat unique, and I know Commissioner Brunner knows this, where there's people with lived experience that have a lot of issues. They probably don't want to be the chair. I'll just, that just to give you perspective. And yet, they take a lot of pride in the service that they do for their community. And so that always tugs at my heart. And I just want to make sure I'm saying that, because if I don't say that to you, to your point, that we could cut people off that are serving in good faith, and there's no harm, no foul. I know you guys have other committees where there's a little more, if you will, politics involved, and we do want a fair representation from everyone. I feel like sometimes our committee has some different elements to it that I want to make sure I'm communicating.
well, and I think you work through that with your committee. I think it's good that we push them a little harder.
Right.
But if you do see a lot of pushback on that, I'd like to hear about it.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
So do I have a motion?
Do we get a motion?
No, we're still in discussion, so I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want more discussion?
No,
Okay.
I was just behind.
Opposed? Carries.
Thank you, Madam
Thanks,
Chair.
Bill.
Move on to the informational item left, and it really is Community Health Board. So you obviously serve as our Community Health Board, which is specifically called out by the Department of Health. And what Kelly has done is really provided myself and the board with slides, and she wrote them and told me this in kind of a resource kind of way, that if you're ever questioned or wonder what is the scope of public health, this would be a way to reference some of that, or at least start to define what our scope is. So I'm going to, Madam Chair, if you're okay with it, just kind of walk through the slides rapidly. If anybody wants to interrupt me, by all means, I may or may not be able to answer your question, but I'll do my level best. The first slide is on WIC, and the note on this that I would have is that last year, 24 to 25, you'll see this, that there was, I think, some lag in the way things went through COVID years, and there was a drop down in 24 and then bumped up to a high number this last year, which I think from the service perspective is a really good thing. Maternal child health nursing, MCH as we refer to it. That's why I'm stumbling over it, because we never call it that. But MCH is these things on the right side of the slide, those 7 areas are target areas. And I won't, for the sake of time, go through all of those. But if you do want us to break any of those down, we certainly could at a work session. So those are the 7 areas. You see that same drop down in numbers of people served, and then back up again in 25. We really have 2 staff that are really assigned to this, so 2 people covering a lot of ground, actually. The other thing that's not on the slide that Kelly had a note for me is we especially chase difficulties that come with poverty in these cases, or complex medical needs not related to poverty, but that there's so much going on for the kid or the family that we want to step in and support. So that's our mission in MCH. The next slide is about emergency preparedness, which we've talked about and had a work session not long ago in some of these, in this regard, with hazard mitigation plan. We have regional training that we participate in, and Family Assistance Center, which is a new concept to really try to stand up resources if a circumstance in the community happen and we have to, in a timely way, have a clearinghouse for resources. Those are kind of our hot topics in regard to emergency preparedness. The HAND network, which I think the board's familiar with, but we get kind of warnings, if you will, that something's going on, usually disease outbreak, which is listed first, but it could also be environmental threats, natural disasters, or terrorism type activities. Alerts, if we receive alert, we have to disseminate that information to our contacts locally within an hour. If it's an advisory, then within 24 hours. You'll see the numbers again to the right that we don't get a ton of these, but the numbers in the last 2 years have gone back up, and then 25 again being an all-time high. So it is a really good form of communication in public health, and it really keeps us connected, because then we send out these alerts and people all have the same information. The next slide is on communicable and infectious disease. Again, the board's well aware of this with what we've been through with COVID. I'm just looking to highlight the measles in particular, and that is the up to 4 days people are infectious, and they remain contagious up to 2 hours in the air and on surfaces. So if somebody's infected is in a room and you walk into that room, up to 2 hours later you still could contact the disease and be susceptible to that disease. 9 out of 10 unvaccinated people will contact measles if they're exposed, And then the vaccine is very effective, 98% effective with 2 doses. Usually we do not give it to infants until at least 1 year of age. And you'll see some of the statistics at the bottom. Unvaccinated people, 1 out of every 5 people will require hospitalization if they get ill, and unvaccinated, 1 out of every 20 would develop pneumonia. So the risks are significant. And Kelly, you can kind of read the room, but Kelly gets really nervous about measles just because it's so infectious, is the big deal. And then the only other note I have is those, if you look at 2020 and 2021, kind of interesting with measles being so infectious. You know, I can't prove this, but I think there's a correlation with mask wearing and social distancing that we did during COVID, and it brought our measles down to 0, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, you know, cause and effect is hard to prove, but it's just an interesting little graph. So the next one is whooping cough, pertussis. You'll see that the numbers have vacillated significantly from 2361 to 3200 back down to 1300 this past year. It is a lung disease. Preteens are actually usually the ones to be affected, but it can obviously show up in other age groups as well. And so we tend to see that go up and down, and sometimes significantly up based on the 24 statistics. Latent TB is the next slide, and active TB. And so tuberculosis, and we've talked about this, it is highly contagious. We do active efforts to contain any kind of outbreak and quarantine the person because it's so infectious. Populations like the colleges are often the place where we do this and have to do those investigations. We basically try to get a net around anybody that person has seen and then test them as well so we contain and not lose track of how that disease might move through the community. And you'll see the numbers are relatively low. Some cases are quite involved, and I've talked to the board about this in the past, but if like somebody works in a factory and there's hundreds of people in the factory, all those people could be infected. We have to test them all. So sometimes the investigation is very, very significant. And sometimes it's not. It's just a small little family group. But it can be very serious. International health, obviously a big deal these days with things that are going on in our communities. It's anybody new to the United States, we have a responsibility to provide health screening, medical exam, vaccination, and any medically necessary services, and that is a mandate from MDH to the local public health. Kelly has a note about Venezuela as a example where if there were people moving here, we would be involved in trying to make sure their care is at a high quality. This next slide just shows, this is kind of that, what I was referring to as a blueprint of our foundational public health responsibilities. The circles at the top are considered our top priorities, so those 5 going across, and then the 8 in the boxes below are the areas of capabilities, they call it, that we are responsible for as well. Our funding is now trying to be organized through this matrix, and our community-specific interventions all have to kind of follow this blueprint. And so this is that slide of just looking at communicable disease, chronic disease, environmental, MCH, and then the linkage to clinical care in the community. The next 2 slides I'm not going to comment on because they're just a breakdown of both the capabilities and the priority areas, and so that they're really quite repetitive. But again, as a resource, if you'd ever want to look at some of the areas we focus on, those are hopefully helpful to the board if that pops up for you. Then we go into the final kind of area here for today is accountability and measurement. There has been an effort underway for accreditation. There's a lot of work and not any money tied to it, so it's a slow rollout. This next year, you'll see we're supposed to focus on progress to meet these goals, and you'll see our goals on the last page here I'll get to in a minute. And then rolling out into 27, where we're supposed to meet requirements, and then full implementation by 28. The reporting is what Kelly would talk to us about, in that it's really increased dramatically, which is a good form of accountability and measurement. So we're not shirking that, it's just extra work that's required. Excuse me. And then finally, the last slide is the public health priorities. To make it short, they're the 5 areas in the circles from before, plus the immunization trends is added, so there's 6 here listed. But again, as a resource, if the board would ever be questioned about what are some areas we're focused on in public health, these would be the right 6 to focus on for 26. And then each year, we expect those to change, probably not very significantly, but maybe different emphasis areas depending on what's going on in the community. That's really what I have for you today. Appreciate it.
A lot.
That was a lot.
Thank you so much.
Kelly did a
Good
great job.
information. Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You guys
Thank you.
have a lot to do.
All right.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, guys.
All right, on to administration.
Well, Madam Chair and Commissioners, the first item is the county board minutes for January 6th.
I would move the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next are the bills for the 2 weeks indicated.
I'll move the bills.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Bills are passed.
Tab 14 is the Human Resources Department agenda. I do have two action items for the board's consideration today. First is authorization for the county board chair and county administrator to sign an agreement with the Minnesota Public Employers Association. This is the probation officers units. We did reach a tentative agreement for a 2-year agreement. This agreement has the same general wage adjustment as other groups for 2026 and 2027. It also includes language changes around the earned sick and safe time, as well as Minnesota paid leave. There is an adjustment to the language related to life insurance, again, similar to what we have in other contracts. So very much bringing that particular contract in line with other bargaining groups that we have around the county for those 2 years indicated. So recommending approval for that particular agreement.
I'll move approval.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next is authorization for the county board chair and county administrator to sign an agreement with the Law Enforcement Labor Services. This is our command staff group in the sheriff's department. This is a 3-year agreement. Same general wage adjustment for 26 and 27 with a 2% increase for 2028. So this is our first agreement that extends into 2028. Same language adjustments for the earned sick and safe time and Minnesota paid leave. We did add some language related to comp time limits for these employees, and we also addressed some market issues that relate to these particular group of employees. And so recommending approval of this contract as well.
Okay.
Move to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
In terms of informational items, starting at the top, we have a resignation of a human service supervisor in our financial assistance area of human services, and so we've initiated recruitment internally to refill that position. We also had a resignation of a child protection assessment worker in our human services department, so we've initiated recruitment to refill that position. And we also had a resignation of a human service supervisor in our community-based services area. That position we will not be refilling. And then we had a resignation of an appraiser in our property and environmental resources department. We also had a resignation of a correctional officer in the jail, so we have initiated recruitment to refill that position. And then we have initiated recruitment for an assistant county attorney, 1 or 2, based on a staff person leaving the agency there. So be happy to answer any questions that the board might have on any of those informational items.
I don't have any questions.
All right, tab 15 then is an application to conduct off-site gambling by the Waseca Hockey Association. This is an event they're planning to hold on February 21st at the Indian Island Winery, and so we're recommending approval of that application.
Move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Tab 16 is the fourth quarter donation, so October through December of '25. The majority of the donations, again, come to the library, so we have cash donations that are listed on the first page and a half or so, totaling about $12,000 for the library, and then we did get a $5,000 contribution from Medica to our adult mental health initiative, so a total of $17,972.61, and so that's the cash donations. Then we also had in-kind donations, again, products or events donated to the library. You'll see on the top of page, I guess it's 215, we had a total of in-kind contributions of $2,813.38. And then the next pages show the time given to the library, and you'll see a total on page 216 of $5,725.04. So bringing this report forward for acceptance by the board.
I'll move approval.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Bob.
And this is the one item I had added,
yes.
an informational item, Madam Chair. Madam Chair and Commissioners, I've decided the time has come for me to retire and enter a new chapter of life. My last day with the county will be May 1st of 2026. I want to tell the board I've truly enjoyed the 37 plus years with the county and have made many lifelong friends as a result of the roles I've held with the county. I've appreciated all the support the county board has provided, especially during the 15 years that I have served as the county administrator. It has been a rewarding role for me. I feel the county is in great shape, and we are so fortunate to have the quality employees we do who serve our community so well. This organization doesn't rely on any one person, so I know that the good work of the county will continue long after I'm gone. I've been blessed to work with some great employees who have deeply cared about our community. They've been great resources for me and have provided incredible insights and expertise along the way. I'm grateful to have worked alongside such wonderful people. It's been my honor to serve the county board, and the citizens of Blue Earth County. Thank you for that opportunity, and I will continue to do so for a few more months. I'm glad to provide any assistance during a transition, so thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Bob.
Congratulations and thank you for
Yeah,
your
thank you.
service. Amazing.
It's been good.
Amazing service.
It's been a real pleasure serving the community.
It's been good working with you
Yes, it has.
on both sides.
Yeah.
We're very
It's a privilege.
fortunate, really, in this county to have such a supportive board to our staff and to our community, and I think we do good things. And I'm proud to say that I've played a little bit of a role with that, but really it comes down to the people that we hire that really are committed to our community.
True. Very true.
Well, thank you for your service, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Commissioner reports. Kevin.
Well, after 37-plus years of experience in doing things for the county, my 8 little things seem kind of insignificant. But on January 6th, after our board meeting, I attended the CASA 9 open house. On the 12th, we had a JD 36 meeting, as well as the Minnesota River One Watershed, One Plan meeting. On the 14th was the JD 39 landowner meeting. I also participated as AMC Environmental Chair with meetings up in St. Paul with the DNR Commissioner and his staff, MPCA Commissioner and his staff, Bowser, Executive Director and staff. The 15th was our NACO RAC meeting, and then this morning before board meeting, we had meetings on JD 9 and JD 36, and that concludes my report.
Thanks, Kevin. Kip?
After the last board meeting, I also was at the County Road 9 Bridge open house, which I thought went over very well. I was impressed with the turnout of people. I think we got some critical feedback and some positive feedback, which is okay. We want all of it. So had a lot of good people at the meeting with the engineers and our staff. We must have had 3 or 4 people from our staff, and I think people got their questions answered, and we're pretty happy with the people I talked with on the way out of the meeting. I was also at the department head meeting, planning and zoning, which y'all have seen that already this morning. It's already done. I attended SWCD meeting. Things are going very well there. We're getting this spooled up for actually Ag Week this week. They're down there with a table or with a booth down there. So I'm going to try to get down there later today. And then a meeting for JD 36, a landowner meeting. I thought went fairly well. Kevin was online, but we had a big group at that meeting. But that'll be coming forward here. You know, it's still moving forward, so they're trying to finalize some stuff. And then I was also on the call this morning for the 2 ditches with Brown County. That's my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mark?
Okay, yeah,
Sorry,
and,
Vance.
you said,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I screwed up the rotation.
On the 7th, I had the department head meeting. Then on January 8th, I did have the George Leary retirement. And then on January 14th, had a MICA meeting online. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, Vance.
All right, after our board meeting on the 6th, I had an NACO membership committee meeting. Later that evening, I also attended the County Road 9 Bridge open house. On the 7th, there was a department head meeting. On the 8th, we had a Highway 169 corridor meeting to get us ready for our very last meeting in February. Let's see. On January 12th, I had a detox board meeting. On the 14th, I had a community corrections board, advisory board meeting, and a bylaws meeting with MRCI. And on the 15th, I also attended the NACO RAC Zoom meeting. And that would be the end of my report.
Thank you. Mine's brief. I too attended the open house for the bridge, which I too was surprised at how many people showed up. It was a great turnout. Department heads on the 7th. I had Region 9 on the 14th. And on the 15th, I had TDS in the morning and NACO RAC in the afternoon. And that's the end of my report. So thank you who have waited through our board meeting. Your patience has been appreciated. We recognize people are certainly experiencing uncertainty right now, and we understand these issues are important to members of our community, and we appreciate you all taking time to share your perspectives. As with any time the county board receives comments from the public at a board meeting, the board will not take any action. This time is being offered as an opportunity for individuals to express their views and for the board to listen. The board will take comments back to staff if needed. If you would like to speak, please feel free to come to the podium, state your name. We do ask that Your comments remain respectful and limited to 3 to 5 minutes so that others have the opportunity. And again, we thank you for participating. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
My name is Sue Lake. I'm a member of Vine, right across the street, a wonderful organization. And I'm here representing myself at the invite of our CEO, Melinda, who mentioned that one of the council members attended our get-together on Friday morning on the 16th and had suggested, or she talked to him and suggested that somebody come and speak about how an event on the 15th, Thursday morning, when we had an ice raid in our parking lot. As you can tell, we've been through the remodeling process, and two of our workers who have been very polite and worked with us for quite a while, were doing brickwork on the outside of the building when vans pulled in. Ice detained them and whisked them away. This was very discerning to us. That's been a place of safety for us, and it all of a sudden, put a little spin on being safe at Vine. I'm going to read most of my comments because I want to make sure I get them included. You're welcome to ask me any questions you have. Again, my name is Sue Lake. I'm a resident here in Mankato, and I am here to share my experience about the raid that happened in our parking lot last Thursday. I did not actually witness the event. I was in my chair yoga class across the hall from the windows that face the parking lot. Members there in their class were aware immediately of what was happening, so they observed it in real time, took some photographs, and when the classes were over and we were out in the hallway, they immediately started to share their feelings that were pretty raw, of disbelief, anger. There was some confusion, definitely uncertainty, fear for the men that were detained, and personal fears. And again, as I mentioned, the loss of safety and security. These are just some of the feelings, and they weren't really shared in a panic mode. It was more of processing, oh my gosh, what's happened here, as unbelievable. You can watch all these reports on TV that you want to. It's not the same thing as being there in the moment, should we say. It ended up, it's like, okay, now what do we do? What do we do? So after the shock of hearing the account, I too, even though I hadn't witnessed it, I felt very much a part of it because I was hearing this information and seeing the photographs, and then it was like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go? There was a feeling of hopelessness and kind of helplessness because we didn't have answers to that. What do we do now? I did know I did not want to work through this on my own. I did my remaining 2 classes for the day. The first one was Strike Strong, and which was help me get the anger out because you're hitting exercise balls with drumsticks to high beat music. So it helped, kind of de-stress me. And the second class was our aqua yoga class, and that's usually really lively, and people are, there's banter going on. It was extremely quiet and very somber that day. And as we were sitting at one of the tables, we were, figuring out what we're going to do. We can't be individuals anymore. We are a community, but we had to come together as a better community of Vine. Our CEO, Melinda, definitely saw what was going on and had a quick response that we would have a meeting open to the Vine community on Friday morning to discuss the path forward and to help us all process what had been going on. So Friday morning, we met, and we had a facilitator who is from a response team that works with psychological trauma come in. Melinda and her team facilitated the meeting. We had that opportunity to share in words, phrases, or experiences how this had impacted us individually, how it impacted our Vine community, our neighbors, and the community at large. I just flashed back because many, many years ago when the movie Schindler's List came out, I had the opportunity and the honor to watch that movie with 2 Holocaust survivors who had lost their entire immediate family and many of their extended family, and to that day did not know what had happened to them. Kind of hit home with what was going on with the ice raids. And this isn't to be political. This is what I saw. This is humanity in action. There was so much clutter in my mind and my heart as I sort of meshed this experience with Schindler's List with what had happened in our parking lot, and really appreciated the opportunity on that Friday morning to get together, to share. And it didn't matter what your political background is. This was humanity we're talking about. And work through this and come up with ideas where we could be empowered again and get away from that helpless and hopelessness we were feeling, and work on self-care, help our members, our friends, and again, our communities. We got a basis where we could have, and still are having, very open communications now, safe communications. Your opinion is just as valued as my opinion is. Voices aren't raised. We have a common goal. How do we move forward with what happened in our parking lot, to which we still do not have an answer what happened to the 2 gentlemen that were detained and taken. We've been able to come up with empowerment. What tools can we use? Where can we reach out? Taking our time and talents to either help fill food banks, run errands for people, just calling a neighbor to say, how you doing? Especially if they're lonely and maybe fearful of going out in public for whatever reason. So it was nice that we could take and get all of our feelings that were all over the place. I mean, the anger, the disbelief, the uncertainty, all that we had a chance to express, and I guess there will be plans for more of that to take place. And I just can't say enough about the Vine leadership team that came together to help us through and are helping us through this. Wish I never had to see it. In another way, I'm glad I did, because it's no longer something that happens on TV. It happens here. And however people feel about it, when we said the Pledge of Allegiance, liberty and justice for all, I truly believe everybody's entitled to that. We saw that not happening. So there's my comments if you have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good morning. I was told there would be no speaking at this meeting, so not totally prepared. But my name is Shelley Hintz. I'm a Mankato resident. I have been very involved in the last 3 years with Faith in Minnesota. Faith in Minnesota is a grassroots political organization, but that just basically is not left or right. It's to lift the whole middle. It's to help everybody. And as we've come to this time, we've had to kind of set aside some of our interest in state policy and look at our national policy. And what we're asking you is to use your platform, as you said, you care about the citizens of this community. We'd like ICE to leave Mankato immediately, and if you have a way to put your voice in that, we ask for that. We would like no more funding for them. We are flooded, all these communities, and I've heard personal stories which I would have not have believed had I not known the person telling me, and they're heartbreaking. We ask that maybe you do public service announcements telling people what their rights are. Citizens and non-citizens, we all have rights, and those rights are sometimes being trampled. And there is a big push on January 23rd that's going to be a support this cause by no shopping, no going to work. And so if you have a way to aid in that, we ask your assistance. It takes all of us to do something in order to make our democracy work, and this is my little part here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to approach? No?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming. We do appreciate hearing from you. I guess at this time I need a motion to recess.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are recessed.